Hi, I am David Lin and this is the microcomputer revolution. So, what is this revolution you speak of? Well, it's a long story, but basically it is why we have our precious computers, beloved internet, and for more fortunate fellas, it is why they are multi-billionaires. This revolution has changed the way we work, live, and communicate, and it was all due to one key invention, the invention of transistors. In this phone, there are over 100 million transistors, and in this computer, there are over 1 billion. There's a very complicated science involving transistors with semiconductors and atomic doping, but I won't get into that.
So who wanted personal computers?
Well, humans have always needed a better system for calculating and computing ever since we invented commerce. But before 1977, most people had absolutely no contact with computers apart from bills and bank services. Can you imagine that? No contact with computers? Man, that's scary. But anyway, in a mere 10 years, computers have become a popular necessity at home and at work.
But how did this happen?
The emergence of new technology, of course. It all started in the 1800s with a series of innovations, one creative solution after another that eventually led to the IBM mainframes. In 1960s, a new era of computers arose, the digital equipment's mini-computers. However, these were still business-exclusive machines. But it all changed with the invention of transistors and Heads-Hoff genius development of a single-chip general-purpose logic device, the Intel microprocessor.
And who led this revolution?
Well, Bill Gates and Paul Allen first became obsessed with computers in 1968. They learned the programming language BASIC and soon became experts on the matter. Here is a book of the program that they soon developed. By 1971, they had their own company that analyzed traffic data, but with the release of the Altair 8000, the first ever microcomputer, they decided that they would put their programming knowledge to use. After their version of BASIC miraculously worked for the Altair, they founded Microsoft and started working with other mini-computer companies. And Gary Cadell. That was a very famous name back then, even more famous than Bill Gates nowadays. He was the creator of the first ever standardized operating system, the CP/M. That was a very important operating system before MS-DOS, but we don't hear much about him these days, do we? Well, it's because he missed out on a huge business opportunity. By 1977, larger industries and smaller companies joined this market, and one of them was run by a couple of California kids by the name of Apple.
And what was this for?
Well, it was the killer application. Well, the Apple II was a unique computer with an elegant design and smooth customizability and capability to connect to a color TV. It blew the competition away. But what really contributed to Apple II's success was VisiCalc, the killer application. VisiCalc was the first of its kind, an electronic spreadsheet program. It calculated values according to other values on the sheet, and this increased the productivity of all industries. VisiCalc appealed to everyone, and it was sold with the Apple II. This significantly changed the micro industry from hobbyist toys to office necessities. IBM, the world's largest mainframe computer company, wanted a piece of this microcomputer market. So they decided that they would create a computer that would really appeal to the customers. But they needed a programming language and an operating system. IBM turned to Microsoft for the programming language and Gary Cadell for the OS. Bill gladly accepted this offer, however, Gary did not. And this was what I was talking about earlier. Since Gary rejected this offer, Bill Gates decided to take on this project and created the OS for himself. But Microsoft didn't know how to write an operating system, so they made the deal of the century. They bought QDOS, Quick and Dirty Operating System, from Seattle Electronics Products for a mere $50,000. And with their own version of BASIC, they created the IBM PC, which was a huge success over the Apple II. With IBM dominating the PC market, many other microcomputer companies were struggling to survive, even Apple. But this all got turned around.
How did this happen?
The execution, of course, this was all due to Park. Wait, what was Park again? I can't seem to remember. Wait, give me a second. Let me call the genius himself, Mr. Lakatos.
PARC stands for Palo Alto Research Center. It was a place set up in California, outside of Stanford, by the Xerox Corporation, who were trying to look for the next thing that was going to come from copiers. And they just paid a lot of smart people a lot of money and let them explore. Early on, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak visited that place, and they got the idea of the Macintosh from there. But even before that, they had produced something called a Lisa. Other thing that Park is known for is Ethernet, invented by Bob Metcalf, and the actual mouse that all of you use today, or some of you use because you're now on tablets, but the mouse was invented by Doug Engelbert.
And here is when poop hit the fan for IBM. Since IBM's PC was made from off-the-shelf parts, many companies started making clones of this successful PC. And with Apple's Macintosh being such a huge success with Park technology, IBM decided that they needed an OS of their own, but they needed Microsoft's help with it. However, a clone company named Compaq beat IBM to the chase by creating a computer that had better performance and more features. This caused huge chaos between Microsoft and IBM, which eventually led to their breakup, and IBM was forced back to its mainframe industry while Microsoft continued with its new OS, Windows.
So how did all this get resolved then?
Well, with IBM off the market, Apple and Microsoft has become today's dominant PC companies. And the prices for PCs has dropped so much that almost every family can afford a microcomputer. Almost every computer comes with a CD port, HD display, HD camera, high quality sound, friendly OS, and a lot of software. However, we still use the same programs that we developed 10 years ago that has significantly increased our industrial productivity. Kids now do their homework using a computer, parents work using a computer, and families entertain themselves using a computer. This session of Crash Course is brought to you by David Lin, produced and directed by David Lin. The script supervisor is David Lin, and the show is written by David Lin.